days ago, I began receiving mysterious text messages, hide and seek. I deeply regret having ignored them. The ordeal commenced during my lunch break at work. My telephone vibrated with a notification, displaying no sender's number, just a blank space where digits should appear, accompanied by the peculiar message, hide and seek. I am accustomed to disregarding spam messages, as such texts typically originate from automated systems or unsolicited marketers. However, this message stood apart. Its absence of a visible number intrigued me. Assuming it was a misdirected communication, perhaps intended for a friend arranging a game, I responded, "I believe you have the wrong number. I am uncertain who you are attempting to contact, but they are not at this number." I resumed my workday, tending to routine tasks. As I was concluding my duties and preparing to depart, I retrieved my telephone from my bag and noticed another text message awaiting me. It was from the same blank sender, with no number displayed, only the message, hide and seek. Confusion mingled with mild irritation. I replied, "As I mentioned previously, I believe you have the wrong number. Who is this? Who are you seeking to play hide and seek with?" I stared at the screen, anticipating a response. Just as I was about to stow my telephone, a reply appeared. "You hide and seek." My patience reached its limit. If the sender would not provide clarity, I resolved to block the non-existent number, hoping the action would prove effective. Despite the absence of a visible number, my telephone permitted me to block the thread, and I felt relief as the strange conversation vanished from my messages. I entered my car and began the drive home. While on the road, my telephone buzzed again, expecting a message from my roommate, Mike. I activated the car's text-to-speech function to read it aloud. It was indeed Mike, requesting that I purchase additional beer, as he had consumed our remaining supply. I groaned, exasperated by the recurring pattern of always being the one to replenish our stock. However, after the unsettling day, I desired a drink myself. I texted back, "I will procure it this time, but if you continue to consume everything we have, you must begin contributing to the cost." I stopped at a petrol station near our flat, acquired a case of Miller, and continued homeward. As I returned to my car, another text message arrived. I assumed it was Mike, perhaps complaining about another shortage. Instead, the text-to-speech read a chilling message, "Seek, drink." Realization dawned, and I immediately telephoned Mike. He answered after several rings, his voice slurred, suggesting intoxication. "Hello, did you obtain the beer?" he asked. I confronted him. "Are you jesting with me? How are you sending those messages? When I telephone you, your number appears, but not with those peculiar texts. What application are you using? Moreover, what is the purpose? I am not yet home, so I cannot play hide and seek, not to mention that I am not a child." The seek drink message was a clear indication of your odd game. A brief pause followed before he replied, "I am uncertain what you mean. I did not send any such message. That is strange who wishes to play hide and seek. Hurry home. My high is fading." He ended the call, leaving me more perplexed. If Mike was not the sender, who was? Upon arriving home, Mike met me at the door, or rather, he seized the case of beer, walked to the refrigerator, extracted 2 cans, and returned to the sofa. "It is pleasant to see you as well," I muttered under my breath. I considered questioning him further about the mysterious message, but ultimately shrugged, took a can for myself, and trudged to my room. Exhausted, I decided to retire early. As I entered my room, my telephone buzzed with another text from the blank sender. Almost time, hide, or seek. A chill ran through me. I had blocked this number. How were the messages persisting? Determined to end it, I typed, "Cease messaging me. I do not know who you are, and I do not wish to play. Leave me alone." I sent the message, attempted to block the sender again, and, for added measure, powered off my telephone. I endeavored to calm myself and sleep, I managed to doze briefly, but a knock at my door startled me awake. It was Mike. His voice slurred. "I am uncertain what is happening, but someone is attempting to contact you. I received a bizarre message, similar to what you described earlier. Examine it." I rushed to the door and saw Mike staring at his telephone in a confused daze. I seized it and read the message. "Last chance. Hide or seek." My heart sank, and panic surged within me. I asked Mike, "When did you receive this?" He shrugged. "Some time ago. I am not certain. I was not monitoring my telephone. What is occurring?" I returned to my room and reactivated my telephone. As anticipated, a missed message awaited. "Okay. You hide." Fear intensified. I felt vulnerable, as if observed. I contemplated contacting the police, but hesitated. What could I report? A series of unsettling texts, but no tangible incident. Yet an ominous sensation suggested impending danger. I glanced at Mike, who appeared equally bewildered and apprehensive. Before I could articulate an explanation, the lights extinguished. Initially, I assumed it was a power outage. Then I heard the slow, deliberate creak of the front door opening, despite my certainty that I had locked it upon returning home. Terror gripped me. I knew something was gravely amiss. I crouched in the darkness and whispered to Mike the only word that came to mind: "Hide." I crawled across the floor and slid beneath my bed. I was about to dial 9999 when my telephone, despite having over half its charge, abruptly died. I pocketed the useless device and considered searching for a light source. A strange shuffling sound halted me. Heavy footsteps followed, far heavier than Mike's. The room's temperature plummeted, and a fetid, rotting stench permeated the air. I crawled as far back as possible, huddling tightly under the bed, holding my breath. I heard my wardrobe door softly close, perhaps Mike hiding within. The footsteps quickened. I realized that if I could hear the door, whatever was with us could as well. I considered shouting to Mike to relocate, but fear paralyzed my voice. The heavy footsteps entered my room. Despite my efforts to discern the intruder, the darkness obscured everything. I remained silent, immobile, holding my breath, waiting. After several agonizing moments, I thought we might be safe. Then a deafening crash erupted. The wardrobe door shattered. Mike's scream followed, a haunting, nightmare-inducing shriek. Something had found him. The cry ceased abruptly, replaced by utter silence. No sounds of violence followed, just the scream. Then nothing. I was at a loss to comprehend what had transpired. I remained under the bed, paralyzed by fear, for what felt like an eternity. Eventually, the lights flickered back on. Mustering courage, I crept out and beheld the shattered remains of my wardrobe door scattered across the floor. Yet there was no trace of Mike or anything else. I called out, my voice growing louder as I moved into the illuminated hallway. No response came. I searched the flat, but Mike had vanished. Worse, I had no inkling where he had gone. 2 days have passed since that night, and no trace of Mike has emerged. I am uncertain if any will. I believe he can now be declared missing, but I doubt it will yield results. It is impossible, yet something invaded our home, located him, and took him. He lost hide and seek, and whatever it was claimed him. The nightmare defies belief. Yet as I document my friend's inexplicable disappearance, my telephone buzzes with another text: hide and seek. I am uncertain what to do or what this entity is. Perhaps I should respond differently this time. Perhaps it will protect me from whatever or whoever is responsible. Perhaps I can uncover its nature. I typed a single word: seek. After sending that response, I was unsure of my next course of action. I could not hide again, yet panic overwhelmed me initially. Had I made a grave error? Was there a strange time limit or trick to this game? If I failed to locate the sender, would they seize me as they did Mike? Prior to that message, I intended to visit the police and report Mike as missing, hoping for an explanation or a lead. The idea seemed increasingly absurd. How could I convey such a tale? If anyone could assist in finding him, it would be a relief. But I feared what else I might discover. Moreover, an unsettling intuition warned that pursuing whatever took him was unwise. Then the message arrived, and I answered. At first, I wandered my flat in a state of tense paranoia, searching for signs. After several minutes, I found nothing, no trace of the entity from that night. No power disruptions, no horrific stench. The terrifying hallmarks of that presence were absent. I began to worry again about an implicit time limit. Then my telephone buzzed with another message from no number. You know all the hiding spots in your home. Let us play elsewhere. 727 Cherry Saint. More fun there. The address rendered the situation terrifyingly tangible. It eliminated any excuse to avoid searching. For a moment, I considered fleeing, allowing the entity to target another, shamefully. I admitted I felt little obligation to save Mike. He was an inconsiderate roommate, often thoughtless. Yet the memory of his scream as the entity found him haunted me. He lost hide and seek, and no one deserved such a fate. Even a remote chance to find him or to save myself compelled me. If I won this game, perhaps the entity would leave me be. I researched the address on my telephone and confirmed it was a real location, not far from my flat. Before departing, I entered Mike's room, opened the footlocker in his wardrobe, and retrieved the handgun I knew he possessed. If I encountered a psychopath or monster, I would be prepared. I drove to Cherry Street, arriving within minutes. The neighborhood was in disrepair, many houses abandoned since the economic downturn. I located 727, a derelict, condemned structure with broken or boarded windows, overgrown with blackberry bushes. Notices adorned the exterior, warning against entry. I sensed this was the correct place. I approached the crumbling front door. It was unlocked, swinging open on rusty hinges with a piercing screech, reminiscent of a haunted house. Doubt surged, and I nearly retreated. But another message arrived. Hurry, or you will lose. 9 minutes left. The implication of losing was unthinkable. I activated my torch and navigated the dust-laden house. I debated calling out for Mike, but feared it would reveal my position, allowing the entity to relocate. With less than 10 minutes to play this real game of hide and seek, I moved swiftly, gripping the handgun tightly. If I found it, I would ensure no further games. 2 minutes elapsed. My torch barely penetrated the darkness, and the house's power was inoperative. I cleared the living room and downstairs closets. I opened a door revealing stairs to a basement, but another message arrived. Colder. Try harder. Running out of time. I closed the door, refocusing amidst growing dread. A familiar putrid stench wafted from upstairs, followed by another message. Warmer. I ascended the stairs, suppressing the urge to gag at the intensifying odor. I followed the fetid smell to a bedroom at the hallway's end. Covering my face with my shirt, I entered and beheld a horrific sight. Dozens of rotting corpses littered the floor in various stages of decomposition. I retched, nearly vomiting. Among them, I recognized Mike's face, emaciated, as if starved despite only days missing, his body pale. Strangely, no significant blood surrounded him or the others, as if something had drained them. Another message interrupted my horror. Colder. But you found the losers. 3 minutes left. Then my turn. Panic surged. I scrambled to other rooms, throwing open doors, checking under rotting furniture and in every conceivable hiding place. With 2 minutes remaining, I entered the final unchecked room. My telephone's light extinguished, but a message flashed. Hot as fire. No more hints. Good luck. The room was frigid, with a subtle decay lingering. The suffocating presence from that night returned. I knew it was here. Blind in the darkness, I fumbled through what seemed another bedroom. I bumped into a bed and paused, hearing a raspy breath nearby. I retrieved a lighter, hoping its flame would persist. Flicking it on, the faint glow dimly illuminated the room. A startled gurgle, like a death rattle, emanated from somewhere close. Estimating less than 30 seconds remained. I threw open the wardrobe, empty. I checked a crumbling armoire, empty. Then it struck me. The bed. I bent down, held my breath, and looked underneath. Two glowing eyes and a grotesque, glowing smile met my gaze. Screaming, I fell back and fired the handgun's entire magazine into the demonic visage. My heart raced, ears ringing. Silence followed. The room warmed, the stench dissipated, and my telephone reactivated after a minute. I shone the torch under the bed. Nothing. No body. No blood. No trace. I checked the room's walls, no bullet marks. Something had stopped the rounds, but it was gone. Another message arrived. You won. Good job. Stunned, I sat in the charnel house, grappling with the game's nature and the entity orchestrating it. I felt a morbid duty to address the room of corpses, the losers of prior games. Approaching the bedroom, I was astonished the stench had lessened. I prepared to dial 999, but my telephone slipped from my hand as I entered. Every corpse had vanished, leaving only a faint decay in the air. Unable to process the experience, I returned home, left with no evidence beyond Mike's absence. I wished that was the end. Last night, another message arrived, revealing the game's relentless nature. Do you believe your friends would wish to play? Perhaps when they read of our amusement, will they hide or seek? I must offer my deepest apologies. I intended only to warn others, but it is too late. The entity knows I have shared this tale. It seeks a new playmate. If you receive a text from no number, inviting you to play hide and seek, I am profoundly sorry. I pray you are as fortunate as I was to survive.